Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils not post game show. This isn't a post game show. I just want to be at the post game show so bad
I know,
tomorrow,
right?
Sean. I'm so excited. This is PHNX Sun Devils live show brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave that 5-star review. I'm Shane Diefenbach, joined again by Sean DePaz. How we doing? No, see,
Lovely.
if you've been listening to our podcasts in the last couple of days, Sean's been making that light skin face every time I say his name. So this was the official airing of that face. So congratulations, Sean.
Thank you.
Oh,
I was highly anticipating it. I was like giddy with excitement while the intro was rolling, just waiting to hit him with it.
Yeah, maybe we can put that face in the intro at some point. If you do your job well enough here in the next
Fair
couple of
enough.
weeks. Well, PD and Craig talked to Greg Powers this morning, coach of ASU hockey, head coach of ASU hockey. We'll get to that interview a little bit later in the show. But first, let's talk about Sun Devil basketball. They are playing. They're playing
baby.
tomorrow,
Back, baby.
8 p.m. at home against Colorado. Definitely a can't miss game. This game, I think, really can set the tone for the rest of the season. I mean,
100%.
your 5 of the 6 last games have been postponed. This team needs to put together a winning streak if they want to have hopes of winning that Pac-12 tournament and getting hot later in the year and saving Bobby Hurley, essentially. Even though I still think he just has the worst luck out of any coach in the NCAA.
Yeah.
And if they can get a big win against a Colorado team who's second in the Pac-12 right now, it can do that. Just that. It can set the tone for the rest of the year. So we'll get into our keys and stuff a little bit later. But first, I just wanted to talk about the game last night. They played in Tucson at U of A, dropped one 76-55. This game the score tells a completely different story. Colorado was able to cut it to 4 at halftime, and there were some bright spots for this Colorado team, but they ran into the best offense in college basketball in U of A, who is just terrifying right now. They're very good at basketball. But it was an unlikely guy on the Buffs that really gave this team a chance. This team has their 2 huge guys in Evan Batty and Jabari Walker, and their other 2 leading scorers around 12.5 points a game. But it wasn't those 2 that did it for them tonight. It was backup freshman guard KJ Simpson, who just came back from an injury. He was actually signed to U of A last year, but changed his commitment after Sean Miller was fired. He led the Buffs in scoring with 17 points a season, and obviously a career high, him being a freshman. And he was the only CU player in double figures, also played the most minutes with 29. So it's definitely something to watch out for. He might sneak his way into the starting lineup. I'm not sure if he does tomorrow. But yeah, he kind of did it all ways, scoring. It wasn't just the 3 ball. But yeah, this Colorado Buffs team, not an easy opponent to play as your first game back from postponement.
Not at all. I mean, it's tough. Like we've talked about, they're a little bit of a surprise. So they're I feel like kind of go into every game with an underdog mentality. And like you said, last night, the score of last night did not at all. It was a 20-point loss, but it wasn't a ASU Cal 20-point loss. It was a much closer game than that looked. And I mean, talked about it for ASU. I feel like you have to go in. This is a new season. You had so much time off since your last game. You just have to. This is a whole clean slate almost, and you have to start off against these guys. It's gonna be tough. This is not going to be a cakewalk by any means. Look at us.
The Buffs shot only 33% from the field last night, and only 20% from 3. And again, it was just a tough game for the Buffs. And as I said, the 21-point loss wasn't really the tail of the game. They did cut it a little bit closer in that second half. U of A was just able to win this game by runs, as they do, because they're just a really solid team that ASU is not ready for. But the bench was really what fueled this U of A run, and I think that's something ASU will need. So who in your mind on the Sun Devil bench is going to need to step up to beat the Buffs like U of A's bench did step up?
I mean, honestly, there's a few different ways. I want to see Enoch play well. He had one of his best games of the season, I think, against Cal.
Yeah.
But I feel like honestly, any help from anywhere
Yeah,
is gonna be nice. But I'd love to see kind of that improvement continue.
as
And
Jacob would say, free my boy Enoch. He wants him to play
you know,
more. There's a lot of room for growth in his game. Really raw
100%.
talent. Obviously, a freshman. And behind two pretty what should be solid bigs in Gaffney and Jalen Graham. So hopefully he can get that opportunity tomorrow night. But they're going to need the size because, as I said, this Colorado team thrives with their bigs.
Mhm.
And it just won't be easy to get past Jabari Walker and Evan Batty.
Not at
And
all.
if the Sun Devils can't get rebounds, I don't see a way that they win this game easily. So that brings me to my keys, and my number one is getting somebody off the bench, at least one or two people that can provide a spark, because we haven't seen that really all year. I mean, we have, but it hasn't come with. It's come in a necessity of like I want some extra scoring off the bench. Like Jay Heath has provided that when the Sun Devils needed scoring. I
Mhm.
want the Sun Devils starting five to score and then somebody else to come in and keep that energy up. So my number
Yeah.
one guy is the Energizer Bunny himself, freshman Jemiah Neal. And it doesn't have to be with scoring, but it would be nice if he could provide some scoring. It just with defense intensity, that's what he does best. I would love to see him come off the bench and get some really solid minutes for Hurley early in this game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like you said, bench is what you fuel U of A, and like I said, help from literally anywhere would be
Mhm.
nice. And so it would just be, yeah, it would be the energy. I feel like is kind of going to be because this game could go. You have such a big layoff. The game can go one of two ways. You could either come out well rested and just have a bunch of energy, or you can come
Mhm.
out sluggish because you haven't played in a minute. So kind of having you, I feel like you need someone to kind of be a spark plug, provide that energy, and it'll be infectious for the rest of the team. So we'll see how that kind of energy level turns out for this game.
Yeah, what would be your number one key, your biggest thing that this ASU team needs to do to win?
Um, I well, like it's kind of similar in terms of providing support, but I feel like someone in the backcourt has to support DJ Horn, obviously
Yep.
leading scorer, but like either Heath or Marion, they have to get something going. DJ Horn cannot be the only one putting up points in that backcourt.
Mhm.
It's something we talked about before with kind of like that three-headed monster. But I don't even think you necessarily need all three of them to be on. You just need one
No.
of those two
Yep.
guys to support DJ. And so I feel like if we can get two guys in the backcourt going, or God forbid DJ Horn has a bad night and Heath and Marion can both get going. Like just two of those three, I feel like have to produce in order for us to really have a chance against what we've already said is a really, really strong Colorado
Yeah.
team.
My number two key is get to the damn rim and run. Get good shots, keep getting good looks, and people can get hot. That's something that this ASU team has struggled with, and that's why there's so many guys that have just horrendous shooting splits.
Yeah.
Get good shots. See the ball go in the rim early. Get up 10-5 at the start, even just that. Get your star players to see the ball go through the rim early, and if they can do that, it's going to set up success for the Sun Devils team. So my number two key, which should honestly be my number one, is get to the damn rim. Just
Yeah.
get easy buckets. Make it easier for yourself. To stop making it so hard to score the basketball.
Yeah. You talked about it before, the difference between taking tough shots and taking bad shots.
Yep.
They can't. This is not a good enough team where they can afford to take bad shots. So they have, yeah, like you said, get to the rim and just get good shots in general. My second key is they have to keep Colorado off the free throw line. Colorado is one of the best teams in the nation in getting
Yep.
to the free throw line. I think they're 14th in the country. And so that's obviously part of why they've been so successful is their ability to get to the free throw line. So you can't foul because, like I said, they're good. It's part of their game. B, this team cannot afford to have people getting into foul trouble. So I just keeping them off of the free throw line, just kind of forcing them to change how they play the game, how they get their points, I feel like is going to be crucial in at least keeping this game close.
Absolutely. No, that the foul trouble hasn't been a huge part of the Sun Devil downfall this year, but it definitely has reared its head a couple times in this season, and it's good that that's not a big problem for the Sun Devils right now,
Yeah.
but it's scary that it can be a problem. My third key is defend that 3-point line, make them uncomfortable. This team is playing 2 games in 3 days. And before then, they also had a bunch of games postponed. So just like the Sun Devils, they're not in their groove. They shot 4 of 20 from deep yesterday, as I mentioned, and struggled to get offense basically everywhere else. This Devils team feeds off getting stops. So if you can get stops, it can translate into offense. It's easier said than done, but do not give them open looks from the 3-point line. If they can get hot from the 3-point line early, this game could be over by halftime. And we've seen that with Cal.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the easiest way to just get defeated and lose a game before it really even gets started. And just if you're giving up threes, it's not going to be a good day at all. But I mean, like with that, you talked about turning defense into offense, kind of getting that momentum. That's kind of my third key. And just like you have to, it's generic, it's cliche, but like you have to hustle, you have to play with heart. I talked about it with Jemiah Neal, like kind of being that spark plug, and Colorado playing 2 games in 3 days. There's no reason that they should out hustle you, have more energy than you. Obviously, you don't know exactly how COVID affected some of these guys in terms of their conditioning and like their battery, but like otherwise, there's no excuse why you shouldn't be getting up for this game and playing with everything that you have. You haven't played in however long, like 2 weeks, so like you need to have that kind of energy. And I feel like if they can kind of follow through on these other keys and keep the game close, it's going to be the team that plays the hardest, that plays with the most heart, that's going to win the game. And so I feel like it could end up being, and that could be what it ends up coming down to, is just the team that plays harder.
Yeah, and that's it's so often the thing in college basketball. That's why there's so many upsets, especially in the tournament, is because it does come down to heart, and that's something that this team has. Like people, I hear this. I mean, I can understand saying that this team doesn't get good shots. It's hard to watch, whatever. Sure, but it's not because this team doesn't play hard. This team plays with emotion and passion, and all Bobby Hurley teams do. So I don't think that will be the biggest problem. It's just maybe are they playing with too much passion, and where do you draw that line?
Yeah.
So hopefully that this team could get some good shots early, as I said, get out and run, defend the 3-point line, and that's just a recipe for success. So I'm excited for tomorrow. I will be at the game. The game starts at 8 p.m. Arizona time. It's in Tempe at DFA. Make sure to join us right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel right after the game. We'll be breaking down everything that happened in the game, as well as if they win, I might be singing in the arena. So hopefully that happens. If not, I'll just be somberly reading lyrics.
You have to grab a PA mic and do it for everyone.
Yeah. I think people would enjoy that, honestly. Well, I'm going to put this on our Twitter later today, but I thought this was interesting. What former ASU player, I have 6 of these, do you think would most help the Sun Devils right now? One of them is being honored tomorrow night. Here are the 6 players. You got James Harden, Fat Lever, Ike Diagu, Byron Scott, Jahi Carson, and Jordan Brzezinski. Which one of those 6 players would most help this Sun Devils team right now?
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like James Harden is the obvious answer. It kind of goes back to one of my
keys. Yeah, but does this team need another guard that can score?
I mean, right now they do. Like that's what I was going back. Like one of my keys, they need someone to support DJ Horn. But
James Harden's not going to support DJ Horn. He's going to be the guy.
I'm just saying support him in terms of offense. He can't I want someone else in the backcourt putting up points. But I mean, it's his night. Like Diagu kind of if he was able to just transform himself to a 20-year-old and get on the court the night his jersey's being retired, I feel like just that spark plug, that energy in and of itself would drive this team to victory. So other than James Harden, I feel like Diagu is probably the way I would go.
I got a little different one. I got Jordan Brzezinski. I think Brzezinski would really add that extra oomph to this team, because you basically have a lesser, sorry for saying this, Jahi Carson, Marian Jackson. Marian, I'm so sorry. I love you. But Jahi Carson was just unmatched. Such an awesome player to watch at Arizona State. Ike Diagu would be fantastic. I mean, as you said, I love that idea. But Jordan Brzezinski, in the paint with the protection he had, and even though he wasn't the greatest scorer, still you get a true post presence. And ASU has 3 good bigs, but none of them has a back to the basket game. None of them do.
No,
So
yeah.
I would love to see Bashinsky out there. I mean, the Blockchinsky obviously is probably weighing in a little too much on this, but that's probably my pick. People in the chat, make sure to chime in and let us know who you would want to see out of the 6 players we posted just earlier today. I don't know if the line is available just yet on this, Sean. If you want to check, I checked earlier this morning. I don't think I saw it, but I would assume. I don't know where this line's going to be, actually. We talked about this the other day, but if you want to bet on this game and you're not confident on the spread, you can always bet on the over and the under, and that's always available on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's the #1 sportsbook app in the United States. It's also an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and this week for Wild Card Weekend, you can get 56-1 odds on any wild card game. If you bet on a team and they win, you get $200. You throw $5 on a team and they win, you get $280 in free bets this week only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. They got that hammer the over promotion that always hits going on right now for the Bills game. Sean, I know you're excited for that Bills game.
Oh yeah, baby.
But yeah, make sure to download it. It makes watching sports that much more fun. And if you're one of those people that doesn't like watching ASU basketball, which I don't understand because even when they lose, I still think it's fun. You can bet on it to make it a little more fun. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use that promo code PHNX. Bet just $5 on any wildcard team to win their game. And if they do, you get $280 in free bets this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. That's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Sean, score prediction for this game.
Oh, I want to be optimistic. I want to say that that ASU is going to win. I feel like they have an opportunity to keep it close-ish, but I'm going to say it's going to be like 71-62 type thing. Like I feel like it's going to be around a 10-point loss, sadly.
Damn.
But I hope I'm wrong. I just this Colorado team is just really good.
Well,
and
you are wrong. The Devils are going to come out and shock the Pac-12 tomorrow. I can feel it in my veins. Weird things happen after 8 p.m. in Tempe, and I think this is going to be one of those weird games. I think Marian has a huge game tomorrow night and really establishes himself as one of the best players in the pack. And people are like, where the hell did he come from? We saw this last night.
The MAC, baby. He came from the MAC.
We saw this last night with Oregon. They choked that game away almost to UCLA. They let it go into overtime. They're kind of the same situation as ASU. A lot of guys that transferred from different schools and haven't really gotten right. And they got right last night as they were able to beat UCLA 84-81. Just a really fun game to watch, and it was a lot to do with their transfers that started to play well. And I think that's going to happen tomorrow for the Sun Devils. So I'm going 73-62 Sun Devil victory. But the score doesn't resemble what the game was like. It's just a dominant performance for ASU that they let them back in there late with a couple threes. Yeah, I think a dominant ASU win happens tomorrow. I'm really excited to be at the game. Devils still playing hoops. Hey. Yes, they are, and they're going to be playing well tomorrow. As I said, I can feel it. So I'm going to make my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. There's no odds available yet?
No, there's not.
Whatever that money line is, if it's -200 or +5,000, I'm taking the Sun Devils as my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. Give me that all day. Sean, what is yours? It doesn't have to be ASU related. You can pick the Bills. Go ahead.
I was going to pick the Bills. The Bills play. What are they? +or-4 right now? I believe.
Yeah,
-4.5. Yeah. I think, listen, the game is going to be, at least the last time I looked, no snow or no precipitation, no wind, but it's going to be like 2 degrees. That's just Bills football weather, baby. The only only concern I have is Josh Allen throwing the ball too hard and the receiver's hands being cold and bouncing off their hands. But Mac Jones is going to have to throw, and he's not good at that. The Bills are going to ride. They're going to walk all over this team. They're going to win by like 2 possessions at least.
I don't see that happening. I don't see Bill Belichick getting blown out. I do see the Bills covering, as I picked on the PHNX Daily Bet Show this morning, but I do not see them getting blown out. All right, let's move on to ASU hockey. As we said yesterday, they have 2 games in 2 days against RIT tonight and tomorrow. big games after a huge win against Northeastern. Greg Powers, who talked to Petey and Craig Morgan from the PHNX Coyote show, spoke to Greg this morning about what went right for this ASU hockey team. And he even said that this was the best game they have played at the Division I level. So we'll go ahead and roll that from this morning.
A special show here for the PHNX Coyotes crew. We're crossing over to the ASU Sun Devil podcast. So without further ado, let's welcome in Craig Morgan and the head coach of the ASU Sun Devil hockey program, Greg Powers. Welcome aboard, Craig and Greg.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, where are you, Greg? Where in the world are you today?
We're in beautiful Rochester, New York, where it's really cold and snowing, and a huge storm is expected to come here on Sunday. So hopefully we get out of here. 13-day trip straight from Boston. So 2 more games left tonight and tomorrow.
We've talked about this. Upstate New York it sounds like normal weather then for upstate New York. It's gray, it's cold, pretty typical, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Just don't go outside.
Well, it makes you feel like you're playing hockey at least. Like that's one of the unfortunate things of playing at ASU. You get outside, it's sunny and 75, wearing golf shirt and shorts, and you get reminded when you head out east that, oh shit, we play hockey.
Yeah, we've gotten plenty of that between 13 days in Boston and Rochester. So we're trust me, by that time tomorrow's game is over, we will be ready to get back to Arizona.
Well, let's talk about this trip. Let's talk about the most recent game. When we talked on after Tuesday's win at number 11 Northeastern, you called it, quote, the best game we've played since going Division I. That's quite a statement. What finally clicked in that game, Greg? What'd you see?
Everything. Literally everything. We just were so crisp in transition. Just every detail and every aspect of how you want your team to play, to your identity, the guys did, and Northeastern's a really good hockey team, with the best goalie in the country. They just had no answer for what we were doing, and their coach said the same, and it felt really good. It was a very, very good win for our guys after a very disappointing series at BU.
Yeah, I wonder if how you compare those two things. It had to feel like this is finally what I had hoped to see. I'm curious. After you get swept at BU, you noted that the team just hadn't been able to put it all together. Has this been a frustrating season from that aspect, Greg?
Yes and no. We have some really good wins. And we're people forget. And trust me, nobody has higher expectations for us than me and our program than me. But we are in our 6th season as a program, and when you can say you've swept Cornell, which not many people do, swept Clarkson, which not many people do, you beat Northeastern on the road, which was huge for us. We have 5 straight wins against ranked teams. The last 5 ranked teams, we have 5. So that's 5 games against ranked teams that we've played, we've won. So, since that Denver series at home, we've started to really play well, I think. The BU series, Friday we stunk. Saturday we were very good. Possession was 58-42 in favor of us. We outshot them. We outchanced them. Their goalie was really good. He just made the Olympic team. He's a very good goalie. He stole that game. Like, he was that good. So we loved how we played Saturday against BU. So we like how we're playing, and I think even Cornell, we played really well to have to sweep that team. They went to North Dakota the next week and swept North Dakota on the road. It shows how good of a sweep that is. But the Northeastern game, just start to finish, we were just fast and heavy on sticks and so crisp in transition, and to put up 6 goals against that goalie who's been virtually unbeatable all year was I think a big accomplishment for us.
I'll ask one more question, let Petey jump in here, but we had talked about, you had a couple opportunities earlier in the season on the road to get that breakthrough win and things didn't go your way. This is sort of the signature win you were looking for on the road, I'm sure. What had been lacking previously, for that didn't, so you guys couldn't break through and get that win that we talked about?
Yeah, it should have been at Quinnipiac. You have a 3-goal lead against a top 5 team on the road, and you don't close them out. It's so many things. It's just we've gotten a lot of leads this year, and you can't sit back. You still have to play physically aggressive. You still have to forecheck. You got to skate teams into the ground. You can't just sit back and change what got you the lead. You can do things to stop taking risks and stop activating D, things like that. But I think that's what we did so well Tuesday, is we just skated that team into the ground. We got a lead and didn't let up. They didn't have a scoring chance the entire third period. So we closed them out really well. We got some timely saves, which has been up and down for us all year. And that makes a big difference when you can get those timely saves. And Ben made a huge save when it was tied 2-2 in the second. And then a minute later we scored. And then a minute after that we scored again. We went up 4-2 and we never looked back.
Greg, we've talked about early in this season, before the season started, we talked about the NCAA tournament for this team, and that was the goal of where you wanted to be. You talked about beating ranked teams your last 5 times against ranked teams. Is there enough runway left to get you into the tournament?
There is. We're running out of it, but it's left. So we have to win 2 this weekend. We know that. If we do, we're probably going to be somewhere in that 20 range is what it projects out to be. So 2 more road wins against RIT is not a bad. They're a good team. I mean, they beat Notre Dame on the road. It's not like we're going into the 59th ranked team. We're going to get some pairwise credit for 2 wins if we can get them against a team in the upper 30s. So it should move us to around 20, 21, and then you're at Mankato next, and they're number 1, and those are going to be our Stanley Cup game 7s. And so we have enough runway left to do it. We added that game against Northeastern, which is hopefully going to prove to be huge for us. And that was a late add. We added it 5 days before we played it. We were lucky enough that they wanted to play. And we still have 1 game to find if we can find it. And I'm looking for it. So I'm still looking to add another game if we can do it. We won't add it against just to add it. It's got to be against somebody really good that's willing to play us, and it's 1 game, So if we can find it, that'd be huge, because it would serve just kind of like Northeastern did, and it would give us another chance to boost the pairwise if we can find the right opponent.
What does the incoming class look like for next year in your recruiting? You've talked about the new building helping that. First, talk about your freshmen, and then what does next year look like for the guys you got coming in?
Yeah, freshmen have been unbelievable. Like what a great future we have with these kids, and the depth of our roster and the age of it hasn't allowed some of them to really showcase how good they are and they're going to be. But if you have, you take Donor, has been, he leads all freshmen in the country in points. Ty Murchison is a horse. He's going to play in the NHL. Like, there's no doubt. He's been arguably our best defenseman as a true freshman. He's not just a freshman. He came straight from the NTDP. So he's a young kid that's just eaten a lot of minutes and just has flourished. Jack Jensen's really coming on. Like, he was a kid that we loved when he got here, and he had his ups and downs like most freshmen have. And against BU, he was our best player. He was unbelievable against Northeastern. He's really starting to play, and he plays with some grit and size, and he just hits like a truck. He's got it all. So he's going to have a big future. And the other 2 that nobody really talks about because of the depth of having all these 5th-year guys are Jackson Niedermeyer and Ethan Schmaggy, who are both very good players. Needs is going to be unbelievable. He can skate. He's big. He's tough. He's got an unreal release. He's gonna be a top 6 guy before too long for us. And so we're really thrilled with our freshmen. And then next year's class, we fully believe has every bit the opportunity to make the same impact that this year's did. We got a couple really high-end kids, some of the USHL's leading scorers coming in. So recruiting's great. This was a top 5 class nationally. Next year we'll probably be top 10. If you can stack those on top of each other and continue to do it, it's going to catch up, and you're going to be built, to where you don't have to take kids out of the portal. You can kind of plug and play and not do what we had to do last year. We took a lot of kids to give it a run this year. And in fairness, all those kids have really produced for us. I mean, look at Colin Tyson, you look at Theo Charitis, you look at Timmy Lovell, Jack Becker's been great. So they've all produced. They've all done a great job. We don't regret it. But moving forward, we want to continue to stack really good classes on top of each other and maybe 1 or 2 guys a year out of that thing, and off we go.
One of the guys that won't be able to play with those classes, won't get to see the new barn, is a guy that's just one of the icons for this program, Johnny Walker. I'm just curious, with all that he did in his first 3 seasons at ASU and all he's done for the program, has this been difficult watching the way it's ended for him with COVID and the injuries?
Yeah, it's frustrating, and nobody's more frustrated than Johnny, because he just hasn't been able to get healthy. Last year, he missed essentially the whole year, and then he did it again at the start of this year and kind of gimped through the first 8 games, and we made a decision to say you need to sit and get as healthy as you can for the stretch run. And he's as healthy as he's been for us right now. The second game against BU was just, honestly, it was a maintenance decision just to kind of preserve him because we knew we had a quick turnaround against Northeastern. And he actually played really well against Northeastern, had some really good scoring chances, hit 2 posts. So, I'm hoping he pops some goals this weekend, and gets his mojo back. And we wouldn't be where we're at without Johnny. So we're gonna live and die by him. As long as he can lace them up and go out, we're going to play him because that's what he's owed and he deserves that. And we're hoping he can make a huge impact these last, 10 games.
Last thing I wanted to ask you, Greg, before we let you go, I'm always curious what life is like on the road for you guys. You had to bus to Rochester. So what do you guys do on the bus to pass the time? What do you do to pass the time once you get there?
Yeah. Boston, there's worse places to get stuck for a week than Boston, right? So it's a great city. So we were able to walk around a little bit. The weather wasn't too bad, but and then we were fortunate enough as a staff to rent a van and drive ourselves, and the team went on a bus because we stayed and watched a prep game did some recruiting later that day on Wednesday. It was a long drive. Like it was 6 hours and it felt like it was 12. Because it was late and all that stuff. But the kids love the road. Like they love it. Like they don't complain. They eat like kings. They're playing Xbox. They're getting their homework done. You can really confine and do a lot of good film with the guys out on the road. And it's just a way to get kind of refocused. And we knew we needed to build our road resume and get some road wins. And the win Tuesday hopefully gets us the momentum we need to go home with an over 500 record on this trip. And that would be a good, successful trip for us.
All right, Greg, thank you so much for joining us today. Best of luck at RIT, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you down the road.
Yeah,
thanks,
to
guys,
keep up on everything Sun Devil hockey. Keep tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes. I'm sure we'll wrap up the Sun Devil season, and hopefully it's in the NCAA tournament. Good luck, Greg, the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys.
Back to Sean and Shane.
Oh, Craig and Petey always just bring the heat. I love watching the Coyotes show, but also just behind the scenes stuff. Their little brother-like quarreling they have. It's a really good time. And Sean, you're going to be on the Coyotes show this weekend.
I am. I will be. I'll be filling in for Leah, so I'll be hosting the Coyotes tomorrow.
Not the new
night,
Leah, though, right?
No, I mean kinda. We'll see. But no, yeah, I fill in tomorrow night and I fill in Monday afternoon for our 2 p.m. game that we have. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Well,
I love hockey. So
yeah, ASU hockey puck drops a little under 30 minutes now at RIT. So make sure to watch that. Going to be a good one.
We have 2 Hobie Baker nominees, by the way.
Wow.
For best player in the country, Tyson and Copperwood,
Yeah.
Tyson and Copperwood. So you can vote for him. So get out there and vote for. We'll get a Sun Devil as a Hobie Baker. That'd be pretty dope.
For sure. Well, you can find more of Craig and Petey's And everybody across PHNX at gophnx.com, you can get your membership for just under $60 for an annual membership. You also get a free t-shirt. You can try your first month out for just under 50 cents. So make sure to do so. We also got great stuff like the shirt behind Sean's left shoulder, available at the PHNX Locker, new stuff like that dropping all the time at gophnx.com and the phnxlocker.com. Well, Sean, we tweeted this out. We tweeted this picture out on our Twitter, and people are confused that anybody else would take anybody but James Harden. But guys, there's too many scorers if you take James Harden. I understand. Like, it's which former ASU player would most help the Sun Devils team. It's not which player in the NBA, like right now. Like, we're not bringing Fat Lever out of retirement or Byron Scott out of retirement. Like, I'm saying right now, like them in college. James Harden was a scorer in college. I just don't think I don't think it's that obvious. Do you disagree?
I mean, yeah. It's hard. I mean, it's hard for people to separate the NBA player he's become and who he was in college. But like, I still like I said, I don't necessarily agree with the we don't need scorers thing, because I think DJ Horn needs help. So I understand why people say it, but I also understand where you're coming from. Like, having someone in the post or something like that. Yeah,
the scoring's gonna come. I promise, guys. Well, before we get out of here, it's a Friday. Got to have some fun, as always, on the Sun Devils show. So we'll do our internet review without further ado. We got a couple tweets for you. We'll start off with this one. I thought this was really funny. I texted Sean this morning, and I said I was laughing at it for a good 3.5 minutes. It just says, MFers wake up, and the first thing they do is grab their phone. They don't even check if their legs work. And this morning I did wake up, and I checked if my legs worked before I grabbed my phone. I slapped these big meat sticks a couple times to make sure that they were still working. And they were. So bless up.
I did not. I immediately rolled over to my phone. So
isn't the idea of that just so funny? Like,
yeah, well, because it's true. At least for me, it's true. Like, I legitimately, like, if I was paralyzed from the waist down, I would be on my phone before I knew it. So
we also saw this on Twitter, which it's definitely not true, because Saban loves his guys. You sent me this. It's a tweet of a Camaro or a Challenger being towed away. You're assuming it's probably a player's car as a joke. They said this is Saban after the game tonight. That was after the national championship, taking away the cars that Alabama gifted their players. Allegedly.
No one's taken JD5's Mustang, because that's NIL, baby.
Yeah, hard-earned Mustang for Jaden Daniels for sure. What do you think obviously nobody knows this for sure. What do you think the craziest thing a recruit has ever gotten? Like, not coolest, but just craziest.
I mean, we can do something that we know for sure happened and go Rick Pitino, take him to strip clubs and casinos.
That's true.
That did actually happen. So I feel like
do you think any recruit has ever gotten a gift card to like an Applebee's, like a $500 gift card to Applebee's or something?
No, because I think the point of paying off recruits is that you want them to come to your school, and I like Applebee's.
Dude, Applebee's is amazing.
I love Applebee's.
It's your neighborhood's favorite bar and grill.
If Duke is offering me like a car, and then Louisville's offering me $500 to Applebee's, I'm gonna be like,
what if Louisville's offering you a lifetime card to Applebee's?
All right.
See? Now we're talking.
Okay, yeah, that's true. A car won't last forever, but Applebee's will.
Applebee's is forever. Even the memories you make at Applebee's are forever.
Applebee's is forever.
Put that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Have you seen that picture where it's like it's like a book, and it's a guy fighting ninjas, and it's like 10 beers at Chili's, or after 10 beers at Chili's, and he's like kicking a ninja? It's so funny.
Chili's is also goated.
One of the things that I don't think people understand is, one, we're serious. Like in college, like I would jump at the opportunity to go to a Chili's or an Applebee's. It would cheap.
Literally be the only thing I ate.
It's so good. I'm just a big fan. Johnny's a big fan of Outback Steakhouse. Yeah, and the Bloomin' Onion.
Listen, when I was hearing that this morning, I am pro. Like, I love Bloomin' Onions. It's like my childhood revolved around Bloomin' Onions. I'm not going to explain that sentence at all. But when you brought up Bloomin' Onion, I got excited. I was like, Damn, where's my invite? I want to. I'll go get a
Yeah,
onion.
you can take my spot. I'm just a little scared with Gianni. I've already spent too much time with him. I feel like he has a vendetta out for me. This next one is very near and dear to my heart because it's about one of my favorite players in the NFL, but not for the reasons you may think.
Carson, got an easy one this week. Jacksonville, we win. We're in the playoffs, so just take care of that ball, okay? What was that? Carson, don't mess with me. I need you to take care of the ball. They are the worst team in the league. Carson, you gonna play a game or not? We just gotta beat the worst team in the league, and we're in. Why do you keep winking? Cut that out right now. Carson! We're gonna lose this game.
Yo, I had not seen it. That's hilarious.
Thank you, Carson Wentz, for cashing the Diefenlock and some Jags money line sprinkles. That pick was posted on the PHNX Sports Instagram page, and there will be another one out today. And it's not ASU money line; it's football related. So keep an eye out for that. I thought that was hilarious. Not only obviously the acting job is phenomenal, but also Carson Wentz is so memeable. And just when people thought he was going to escape the memes, like and get into the playoffs and having a historic season, he goes out and does that. And I mean, it wasn't completely his fault. The Jags did play inspired football, like I said they would, for no reason, and they still retain their number one pick. That might be one of the best wins in the last week of a season ever for a non-playoff team.
Yeah, that was the fact that they won, and then the who was it? The Lions also won.
Yeah, the Lions
and they both managed to cost themselves the first overall pick, and like within a few hours was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So have you seen those videos of people going up to other people with headphones and saying like, "What are you listening to?" And then they'll tell them what they're listening to, and then they play the music while they're walking away. This is a joke on that. I thought this was really funny this week.
What's up, man? What you listening to?
What's that?
What you listening to?
This is the Sullivan Ballou letter from Ken Burns' Civil War documentary.
Oh, okay.
My love of country comes over me like a strong wind and bears me irresistibly with all those chains to the battlefield.
Are you ever an audiobook guy?
No, the last time I read the last and only time actually that I read an audiobook was going into my freshman year of high school because we had to read Tom Sawyer, I think, and I just couldn't get past the broken English that they spoke, and I just didn't. It frustrated me so much. I'm listening to this book.
Yeah, are you a big book guy?
No,
but you're a big knitting guy.
I am a big knitting guy.
I feel like those go hand in hand.
Well, my problem is that like I'll start a book and I'll get really into it, and then something will happen, like I'll have to move or something like that, and I have to spend a couple days away from the book, and then I just don't get back into it. That happened in my most recent move. I was reading The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, best book of all time, but I got like halfway through it, and I haven't picked it up in about 2 weeks.
Nice. Well, we have one final video to show you guys, and this one is special. Sean sent this to me this morning. You can read the tweet, but there was a video attached to it, and there was music playing in the background, and we can't play that music because it's copyrighted on the show. So it was like, what better music to put in than something that I made myself that isn't copyrighted? So without further ado, here you guys go.
Check 1 2, check 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2.
PJ Father on the beat.
I don't wanna grow up on my sticks, kid. A million different basketball skills that he can play with. From dunks to blocks to long range shots. He's the greatest big man there is. I don't wanna grow up, cause maybe if I did, I wouldn't be a sticks kid.
Oh my god, that's so much better than the original video. I did not see that coming at all.
For that tweet is fantastic, by the way. I want to know what the dynamic of Cooper Kupp is in the locker room. Like, I want to, because he's so like analytical and straightforward on interviews, but I feel like that's not how he.
No, I feel like he's probably like the swaggiest white boy.
Yeah,
like, someone proposed a question to me. He's probably the greatest white receiver of all time too. I love Cooper Cup. He has breakfast with Matt Stafford every morning,
Oh,
which is why he balls Matt Stafford.
which is why he gets
suspect.
the ball so much.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key. Have breakfast with your
I
quarterback.
don't think
and
you
get the
can.
ball.
I don't think you can argue that anybody else would be better than him as a wide receiver.
No, I
Julian
mean
Edelman had
this
some
is
like really good moments. Danny Amendola
yeah,
had
but
some
he's
good
not
moments.
this good.
I mean, you have
Like
like Steve Largent was really good. There's
this
probably
is
people
this
we're forgetting, but
the second best individual like single receiving season of all time.
yeah.
So he's one of the greatest receivers of all time, basically. I think single season receivers of all time, let alone white guys. I think I don't think it's really a question.
Let alone white guys. Well, Sean, what are you up to this weekend? You doing anything? You staying in the house?
I'm watching hockey. I'm hosting the Coyotes pod. I might do a little something, go get lunch, something. I got to get out of the house. I've been spending too much time in the house, so I'll do a little something tomorrow. But
Little
otherwise, I do
something.
not have. I was out at Westgate last night.
Yeah.
And it was all right. I was at Salt. I couldn't
Mhm.
hear for a little bit once I left, but it was
Yeah.
fun still.
Nice.
I like people watching at clubs more than anything. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I'll be in Old Town tonight, so come say hi if you're down there. Going to Patty's. If you haven't been to Patty's, fantastic dive bar down in Old Town Scottsdale. Yeah. So just don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the post-game show. Anything else to add, Sean?
No. Oh, I did want to mention Austin Nunez, a recruit for next year for ASU basketball. He's point guard, 4-star recruit. He was named a McDonald's All-American nominee. So good things to come for ASU basketball, hopefully.
Do you think do they get anything from McDonald's?
I don't know if they probably get like at least like a free meal, which is not saying a whole lot. Like they're probably like, welcome to the All-American game. Here's a Happy Meal.
Congrats,
they should.
Congrats, you're a McDonald's All-American. Here's burger.
I mean, I feel like here's burger. Prior to this year, prior to the NIL stuff, it was probably like there was probably a lot of like, oh, McDonald's sponsors Duke, so we can't give them free McDonald's. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully now they can just here's playing the game. Here's a burger, some fry.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure as always. Thanks for tuning in on another Friday Fun Day edition. Thank you to Greg Powers, PD, and Craig Morgan for the great insight on ASU hockey. As a reminder, they tip or the puck drops. They don't tip. That'd be cool if they did tip offs in hockey, though. Puck drop is only 15 minutes away, so make sure to watch that. And they also play tomorrow at 3:05. ASU basketball, as we said, in action tomorrow in Tempe against Colorado. Finally, once again, and then they'll be in action at home at 2 p.m. on Monday against Utah. We'll have post-game coverage for both of those games right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. Turn your notifications on. If you're listening on audio, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Leave a 5-star review and head over to the live show if you're listening on audio and check out Sean's light skin face and comment something in your review about it. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. You can follow me on Twitter at Shade Dave. You can follow Sean on Twitter at Sean DePaz. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Sun Devils. Go ahead and reply to our tweet and let us know which ASU basketball player you would most like to return for the end of this year. Thanks for tuning in as always, and peace.